Rana, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my God, your mic sounds amazing today.
I restarted the computer.
Okay, let me turn that volume down so I don't blow my eardrums out anymore.
Okay.
So, how
Oh
are
no,
you
just
doing?
ramen. Jesus.
How
Kind
are
of
you doing today?
nauseous. I'm not gonna be on too long because we're getting ready to go to the movies. Their dad's coming to get us. So
Oh, what movie you want to go see?
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh,
I've been.
okay.
Oh my god, it looked so good. I actually one of those wonky sites has it uploaded, and I was watching part of it. It wasn't as good as the trailers, but I'm still hopeful. Yay.
Uh, Well, morning, Digi. You're the first one in today. And Data, good morning.
Good morning, all.
You
And
know,
screw whoever said, oh, it's just ramen. I'm fucking magnificent. Screw you all.
but yeah, if you'll notice, I changed pictures here this morning.
Oh, what is that? I see that.
Okay. I changed my background picture. And
I
the reason why for that, y'all know I'm kind of interested in space. I have been my whole life.
uh-huh.
Okay. And this here, that picture there was taken by NASA. It was of a star that exploded twice.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all are
And,
disgusting in the chat. You're not worthy of this stream. Have you seen your chat?
yes, I'm seeing it.
Oh my
And
god.
here is the video, a video that NASA released.
Hmm. Wow, that doesn't even look real. That's beautiful.
I know it doesn't look real. So that's just absolutely amazing. Now I did find another video that actually explains everything as to uh, how this happened. And if
Um,
y'all want to listen to somebody explain it, what it boils down to is, well, it's just best we'll just listen to to this woman explain it.
For the first time, astronomers have obtained visual evidence that a star met its end by detonating twice. I bet you didn't know that some stars can explode not once, but twice in a spectacular finale. A double detonation supernova begins with a white dwarf star in a binary system. The white dwarf pulls helium from its companion star, gradually accumulating a layer of helium on its surface. When enough helium builds up, it ignites in a detonation. This first explosion sends a shockwave into the white dwarf's core. The shockwave then triggers a second, larger explosion in the core of the white dwarf. This is the double detonation mechanism. Observations have revealed two distinct shells of calcium in the supernova remnant, providing strong evidence for this two-step explosion process. The presence of both shells confirms the sequence: helium detonation followed by core detonation. Studying these events helps astronomers better understand.
But anyway, I just thought that, when I saw that and then I watched both these videos, uh, I was like, yeah, man, that is just absolutely something else. And, and of course, what this photograph here is, this, the dark brown ring is the initial explosion, with the blue ring being the internal explosion. So I just thought that was really cool.
okay.
Yeah. Did I would not have thought of that until I saw your post. So you've been taking lessons from Shio, haven't you?
Oh god, no, please.
Hey, I love Shio.
Uh-huh.
Hey, morning, Mike. How you doing today?
Uh-oh. What the hell?
So,
Oh, not my mic. Okay. Good morning, Mike.
so anyway, um, we talk. This made the news the other night, and I really did. I wanted to talk about it on Monday, but I sort of ran out of time on it, and I heard about it first over the weekend, and I sort of ran out of time on Monday, and so here we are. We're going to talk about it here a little bit today. We talk about how crappy the school systems are and
Oh,
how
God, don't get me started.
they just pass kids along to pass them along.
Yeah.
They want to keep them in with their grade group. Keep them with their friends. Don't want to embarrass them by flunking them. And colleges aren't any better.
True.
Student who says she is illiterate despite graduating with honors is suing a Connecticut school district.
For what?
Okay. She's been accepted to UConn, the University of Connecticut.
Yeah.
A Connecticut honor student is suing her school district saying she's illiterate despite graduating from Hartford Public High in June with honors and getting a scholarship to the University of Connecticut. Alicia Ortiz is claiming she cannot read or write.
God.
The 19-year-old who spent 12 years in the Hartford Public School District testified at a May City Council meeting explaining her unique situation and how the education system failed her.
Is it really a unique situation?
I decided the school had 12 years. A native of Puerto Rico told CNN, now it's my time. Ortiz is suing the Hartford Board of Education, the city of Hartford, and her special education case manager, Tilda Santiago, for negligence. When she was in 6th grade, she was reading at a kindergarten or 1st grade level. Although she hardly speaks English, Ortiz's mother, Carmen Cruz, did her best to advocate for her daughter, speaking to the principal and other schools. I don't know English very well. I didn't know the rules of the schools.
Oh, my God.
Yes. They tested her just before graduation to find out she is dyslexic.
Wow.
Now, Connecticut, in another article I read this, Connecticut does not require, or UConn rather, does not require students to take the SATs prior to getting accepted. I'm amazed. How can a student graduate? Ooh, Mike's got a crown. Oh yeah, I heard about this. You get experience points for posting. Well, why
Yep.
doesn't he have experience points? Oh,
Yep.
it must only go for people without a wrench.
There you
Because I
go.
think no, because Data's got a wrench.
Okay. I don't
And
know.
he's
I mean,
got
I have the
he,
crown in other chats. I don't know how.
top
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's a number of times you post.
Well, I don't know. Digi's posted a lot today,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have. I wonder how. I wonder how it determines what. Send live chat messages and send super chats and super stickers.
Mm.
That's how you get points. Okay, interesting. No, it resets every stream there, Data. That I just read the thing on it. Resets every stream, so that's all right. I don't comment a lot. I mean, usually if I'm watching a stream, I have a tendency to watch streams when I'm doing other things, like washing dishes or cooking
My
or
boy is starting.
playing video games. But I'm really curious how in the heck a kid got through high school, became an honor student, got accepted into a university, and says she can't read beyond let's say fifth grade level. Now, dyslexia or not, now she said she uses apps that text to speech and speech to text apps, but I mean,
But if she
unless
can't read the text, how is she doing? Whatever. I'm gonna shut up.
well, I mean, you get the digital book or you scan the pages. I mean, you've got to spend some serious money on these because they misspell words, they use the wrong words, they're grammatically incorrect a lot of times. She must have one hell. She's got to have one hell of a memory though, because if they're doing like Digi says, they're oral lessons, and she can't write beyond a first to fifth grade level, she's not taking notes. So either she tape record, she recorded all of her classes and then played the recordings back to study. I mean, I can see ways of using technology to get around not being able to read or write. But then how about taking a test? You're not going to be able to use that technology when taking an in-classroom test. Not at the schools or anything like when I went to school, the only thing you were allowed to have on your desktop was pencil, pen, and the paper that the test was on. So and then on top of that, she admits that she acted up and that she was a bad girl throughout her years of school. So she, suspended or detentions. Unless, of course, she played that minority racist card, You can't give me a detention because I'm a Puerto
Oh my
Rican
God.
female.
I was just gonna say, records of suspensions and detentions usually make it more difficult to get a scholarship, but here we are.
I and the school is entirely at fault. Her teachers, every teacher she had for those 12 years is at fault. Her guidance counselors are at fault.
Oh yeah.
The school board is at fault.
Hmm. I
But
am
she
not
is also
disagreeing.
at fault, and so is her parents.
Of course.
So should she be able to sue the school board and get any money out of them? Not only no, but hell no. But that is a legit reason for that school board to be taken over by the state. For that school district to be taken over by the state. And the state will take over police, police organizations when they find that they've been doing things wrong. And, everything that the police station does, everything that the police officers do is tightly critiqued by the states, in Florida, FDLE. So I'm thoroughly confused. There's no way that would have happened again. I graduated in 78, so there's no way a kid would have graduated high school, let alone, especially with honors, and be illiterate, because they never would have taken a test and passed. They never would. I mean, how hey, morning, Neil. How do you write a book report? How do you prepare a speech? If short of memorize it. Like I said, she must have one hell of a memory. Now this here is the next story I want to do here. We covered it when it first came up, and the guy finally went to courts martial. Military veterans been sentenced to life in prison for plotting to attack an FBI office and assassinate law enforcement officers. Military veteran was sentenced Wednesday to life in prison for plotting to attack FBI office, assassinate LE. In retaliation for his arrest on charges, he was part of the mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Last November, a jury convicted Kelly. I want to say he was Air Force. Of conspiring to murder federal employees, solicitation to commit a crime of violence, and influencing federal officials by threat. I've got no problem with this man spending the rest of his life in jail. He absolutely deserves it. I don't care if you've been falsely arrested for anything. There is no excuse for conspiring or threatening to murder a police officer, FBI agent, U.S. Marshal, whatever. Oh, he's a Marine Corps. Oh no, I'm thinking of the guy that was spying that was Air Force. I need to look him up and see what his final deposition of his trial was. So again, I've got no problem with him spending the rest of his life in prison. You don't threaten to murder people. That's one of the few crimes I've got very little compassion for. Raman, you know you're muted, right? I didn't mute you.
My son is refusing to wear pants. This is becoming problematic.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're right. That is problematic.
I mean, when my daughter did it, she was 13, and I would ask her, "Where's your pants?" And she would accuse me of ruining her life and slam the door and put them on. It was kind of funny back then. It's not funny now, and there's nothing cute about it. I'm tired, and he won't wear pants, and we have to go. I need help. Not take me away.
Okay. I know this next thing here, and this is where we're going to spend a lot of time on this because
What is it?
I've got a lot of problems with it, and I'm only looking at 2 states out of the 50, and I know that there's 46 other states that this is a problem in.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
What did we get? What
And
happened?
I'm covering Florida first. Dang it! Come on.
Okay.
Florida DMV employees arrested for CDL fraud. CDL, commercial driver's license. In a shocking revelation, multiple employees from the Florida Department of Motor Vehicles have been arrested for selling thousands of commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. The situation has raised serious concerns for the integrity of the licensing process and implications for public safety in the trucking industry. Now, this is on the heels of the Trump administration enforcing the law that in order to get a CDL, you must be able to read and write English. You have to be able to speak, read, and write English in order to get a CDL in the United States. That's been the law for decades because all the road signs and everything else are in English. We do not have bilingual road signs. And the DMV employees selling. According to reports, arrests stemmed from an investigation into the fraudulent practices at several DMV offices in Florida. Authorities discovered that DMV employees were engaged in a scheme to issue CDLs without training, testing, or vetting. This means individuals who obtain these licenses may have had no formal education or experience in operating commercial vehicles. And we're not just talking about driving for FedEx, UPS, driving the donut truck or even the UPS mail trucks, the little ones that, postal carriers. We're talking the 18 wheelers. And some states allow dual trailers. And these people, I've had a C. I think I still got my CDL. I may have let it go though. I may be letting it go here if I still have it. But I've had a CDL since the 1990s. Because and now I got mine, very easily. I had all my training when I was in the Air Force, and I just took my military training records down to the DMV. They looked at them, said, "Okay, fine. You don't have to pay for the testing or anything else." It saved me several $100s, and I got my CDL license. One benefit to being in the military. And I kept my CDL. I may still have it, like I said. Let me see. I got my license right here in my wallet. Am I still, or did I finally give it up? Nope, I still have my CDL. I'm probably going to give it up because there's no sense in me paying an extra $70, $70 or $80 to keep a CDL license. I may go ahead and give up my motorcycle endorsement also. But this is bad. One of the local DMVs got caught having 8 people selling driver's licenses. Just the DMV. I mean, you didn't even have to take the test. You just walked in, handed them some money, and you walked out with your license. The scale of the operation is staggering, with estimates suggesting that thousands of licenses were sold to illegal aliens. Without the proper training, drivers may lack, it's not may, but would lack the skills required to operate large trucks safely, increasing the likelihood of accidents on Florida's roads. Florida is one of 10 states identified as contributing to the problematic influx of illegal drivers in the trucking industry. Like I said, I'm only going to talk about 2 states, but I don't think there's, other than Hawaii and Alaska, I don't think there's a state that this hasn't happened in. I would not be surprised to find out this didn't happen in all 48 continental United States. CDL, commercial driver's license. That that's anything except for your privately owned vehicle. If you drive I wouldn't be Data. Do you have to have a CDL to drive DoorDash or to drive Uber or Lyft?
You do it's just a regular car. I think you just have to have decent insurance.
Well, yeah, but see, if you're driving with paying passengers, that should require a CDL.
Oh, okay. But DoorDash is just food. It's a purchase. It's not people.
Yeah, but you're still making a living. That's still commercial use of your vehicle.
Oh, okay. See,
They just saying no. Okay. I wouldn't have been surprised if they didn't require a CDL because you are, using your vehicle for commercial purposes.
right.
But if they're not, you're not. Okay.
I'm just amazed at the number of single parents driving around with their kid in the backseat eating people's fries. But that's just me.
Oh, I've told you my story about the one and only time I've used DoorDash. Well, no, I've used DoorDash a total of 3 times, and I'll never do it again. The
I've used
worst,
it twice. Never
twice my food was over an hour late getting to me.
Yeah.
The 3rd time, this was back during COVID. and they came in as this is at work, and they dropped off my lunch, and I'd ordered from Popeyes.
Oh God, why would you do that? Anyway,
And well, I went to the Popeyes website and ordered. I didn't realize they're using
they were
DoorDash.
doing it. Yeah, you'd be like Little Caesars does, Taco Bell does, even Publix uses Instacart. I didn't know Publix was using Instacart until they put my order somewhere it wasn't supposed to be. So yeah.
So I went out, they walked out the door. I went out, opened up the bag, and instead of finding all my chicken wings and chicken sandwich, I found a pair of nasty old sweatpants.
That's right. How are you gonna? Never mind. I'm not even gonna ask how you're gonna eat those. Somebody in
Okay.
the chat will have a response.
So I ran out the door and stopped them from leaving, and cussed them out and said I wanted my lunch and gave them back their sweats. And the girl in the back seat handed me my bag. I went inside, and the bag had been opened.
And mostly eaten.
And there was some of the chicken wings were now just chicken bones.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
So I called Popeyes. This was a $30 order from Popeyes.
That won't get you much now. I mean, to me that's a lot of money, but it won't. It doesn't
Yeah.
go far now.
It doesn't.
No.
And they told me it wasn't their fault. It was on DoorDash, and DoorDash blamed it on Popeyes. And either way, I never got my money back.
Of course not. Well, that's what happened with me. I didn't get my money back either. They stole a 2-liter out of my order and said they never got it. The store said they gave it to DoorDash said they didn't. So I was screwed. The next time was Taco Bell. I don't know what it is with the drinks. You just don't get your fucking drinks, man. They were like, no, we didn't get your 3 large sodas that came with the meals. Apparently they don't do that. And all kind of crazy stories they were telling me. You need to wear those pants. Sorry.
So
He's got the
well,
pants.
so that's I'm just surprised you're not. I could see it going both ways on requiring a CDL for
I get it.
DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, anything like that. Uber Eats credits for nothing and everything. Yeah, well.
I do have to say, aside from a mix-up, a huge $200 mix-up with Instacart, which they fixed, they gave me my money back. They're actually pretty good. I actually kind of like Instacart. I got spoiled.
Well, the wife and I don't do deliveries yet from Walmart.
I don't know. Walmart.
Yeah, I had a hazmat endorsement on my license.
Oh, okay.
That was because I had a hazmat, and since one of the trucks I drove had potable water, I also had the food transportation endorsement.
Ooh, okay.
So
see, Instacart, they were really diligent when they had to switch out an item that was unavailable. They were really aggressive about making sure I approved it and all that other stuff, man. Like it's like a 10-item order, man. It's water. Water is water. Just switch it out. It's fine.
Okay. The arrest of the Florida DMV employees marks the beginning of what could be a lengthy legal battle. Those involved in the schemes. Now, this I don't understand. May face severe penalties. They should be in prison. Criminal charges, fines, prison sentences. And definitely, the scandal should prompt further investigations into DMV practices across the nation. Like I said, I would not be surprised to find out this wasn't a problem in every state and every major city.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine LA?
Oh
How many illegal driver's licenses were handed out in Los Angeles at the DMVs? People couldn't pass the road test if they wanted to, but they got the license anyway. And not just a CDL, but a standard driver's license. I'm just as concerned about people being able to drive a standard car, a regular car on the road.
Yeah.
And not understand road signs and how to drive in. Because face it, you're driving in Mexico, you're driving in South American countries, driving in Europe. If you don't know, driving in Europe is a nightmare. And it's so much different than driving here in the
The
States.
Autobahn.
And England is the only country I would say, especially London. If you're getting a driver's license in London, is the only place I'd say has got a. My God, to get a driver's license for driving in London is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Get a license in the UK is bad enough, but to get it in London, I don't think anybody's ever passed those tests first time.
Probably not.
But
I just wanted to put on pants. It's not that hard. He's just walking around with the pants in his hand, talking about how he's gonna put them on, and then doesn't.
the revelation of this scandal sparks outrage among Florida residents. Of course, of course, it's people are angry over this. Public's trust in government agencies have been shaken. Who in the hell's ever trusted the government agencies to start with? Not me.
Right?
And there's growing demand for transparency and oversight in the licensing process. Damn straight. Now, and Florida, and you would think, especially with Ron DeSantis and the Republican legislature and how hardcore they are on things, that Florida be one of the states where this would least likely happen.
I just want to see all these people in the alligator detention center.
I'm going to find some shirts, and I'm going to buy some shirts and hats.
Man, somebody asked, is this what you voted for? Voted for Mitch. I would subscribe if it were on pay-per-view. I would subscribe for this content. I want to see it every week. A new escapee becoming lunch. Yum. I'd pay for it. I would vote for it, pay for it.
I had a Class C license nil. If I'd gotten air brakes, and I'd had a Class A. That was the only thing stopping me from getting my Class A license was the air brakes issue. Okay, so now this is Florida. All right, and they're not saying where this happened at, which cities. All right, I'm more like granted though, up here in the Panhandle, there's been one up in the Panhandle caught driving, selling them. So, but I would imagine most are around Central and Southern Florida. Okay. Here is the press conference that they had. Let's see. Where's my press conference at? Here it is.
Shortcuts. These were intentional acts of corruption where individuals paid bribes in exchange for skipping critical safety evaluations.
I bet there's 1,000 more people going, where can I pay that bribe? Little 80-year-old ladies who don't have their license anymore going, $200 is that unreasonable?
Skipping critical safety evaluations. The investigation also led us to arrest 5 additional individuals who are acting as brokers running local businesses that claim to assist with immigration paperwork, but instead arranged illegal transactions and funneled aliens from as far away as Miami to obtain licenses fraudulently. Let me be clear that putting untested, unqualified drivers, especially those with commercial licenses, on our roads is an unacceptable risk to every family in this state. These licenses were essentially sold, not earned. That means we have individuals on the road, possibly operating tractor trailers, who never demonstrated the basic skills to do so safely. It's not a paperwork issue. It's a direct threat to highway safety and a betrayal of the public trust. The scope of this investigation: yesterday we seized over $120,000 in illicit proceeds tied to this operation. Evidence.
I'm surprised it was only $120,000. I would not be surprised if it exceeds over a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, when they get all said and done here. I would hate to be working for the DMV now, because you know your bank, every employee of the DMV is going to have their bank records reviewed.
Oh.
And looking for people with deposits that far exceed their
payroll,
their employment.
Wow.
You know, or you know, there was a cop. There was a cop busted because he paid cash for a swimming pool. And you know, they asked him. You know, he had a pool party, and they asked him how he could afford to have that pool put in. And he could never answer.
That's my only.
Turned out that he had been on the take. And yes, I know there's a movie out there where it turns out the cop's wife paid for it because she wrote romance novels and nobody knew it.
God. Very
I know
nice.
That's out there. That's a movie out there where that's a thing. But that actually did happen, though. Cop got busted because he used the money that from that he'd been getting on the side.
I'm so sad that
for an in-ground swimming pool.
Just that hundreds, if not more than 1,000 fraudulent driver's licenses were issued as part of this scheme. It's been ongoing for over 2 years, and this investigation is continuing to be.
Mom, and your fan's going nuts.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to repair something on this.
Oh, okay.
Be ongoing and will expand statewide as we work to identify those who receive licenses illegally and hold all parties accountable. Each license issued could result in felony criminal charges for the license holder, and our investigation will be expanded by our state partners to hold these individuals accountable. A search warrant was executed yesterday at a business in Callaway called CubaMax, which is involved in processing immigration documents. Again, I want to commend the outstanding teamwork and partnership of our investigators.
So anyway, yeah, if you want to see what's going on, and I mean, again, this is just Florida. Oh, wow, they're talking here about Bay County. All right, Bay County is up in the Panhandle. That's the county below where I live, below and to the side. So, yeah, that's definitely up here in the Panhandle. But to think this is just Florida, nah.
Oh,
New York City, driving school rigged driver's licenses for illegals, even if they couldn't drive.
yeah, I believe that. Oh God, I can't breathe.
Because of greed, because of theft, because of thievery. We are announcing arrests today of individuals who are taken into custody. There are multiple New York State, many of them some are New York State motor vehicle examiners who brazenly betrayed their oaths of office by accepting cash in exchange for falsifying the result of countless road examinations, or in many cases allowing individuals to bypass the testing process altogether. The result of a long-term investigation spearheaded by my office and the New York State Inspector General with the assistance of the New York City Police Department and those who are here with us and you will hear from today. Investigators uncovered a corrupt network involving not only government employees, but also individuals at a driving school, imposters who took tests on behalf of unqualified applicants, and the applicants themselves who paid to illegally obtain driver's licenses. In some cases, even the prerequisite learner's permit was fraudulently obtained.
Hold on. Okay, I can't be here anymore. I can't breathe.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
I will be on tomorrow though.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Tomorrow, 4th of July.
Oh wow.
And they notified us yesterday that there will be no trash pickup starting tonight until next week.
Of course.
So,
Bye everybody. See you
hey,
tomorrow.
Fury, how's it going, buddy? Afternoon to you. Big Apple Driving School paid off DMV examiners to fraudulently fast track driver's licenses, even if they had no clue how to drive. The T&E Driving School in Queens took cash from Chinese immigrants who couldn't even speak English and paid off a crew of Department of Motor Vehicle employees on Staten Island to illegally obtain driver's licenses. Now, again, is anybody surprised that this happened in New York under Hochul and Adams and soon to be the socialist immigrant who's going to be a mayor of New York City? Our investigation found that T&E Driving School blatantly flouted the laws and procedures necessary to ensure public safety. Yeah, right. As alleged, T&E social media utilized social media and strategic advertising to target exploited members of the Chinese community and guarantee individual driver's licenses regardless of immigration status, language, or even their ability to operate a vehicle. Moreover, these individuals were those who did not speak or understand English and may have believed they were all taking necessary and legitimate steps. Nonsense. None of them thought they were taking legitimate steps to get a driver's license. Wixon Tan, Wyman Tan, and Winnie Yang, and school test driver Wen Fang Yang set up the scam by paying off DMV drivers or DMV examiners Aja Adkula, Tiana Rose, and Delina and Edward Todd Quinn. Well, at least there's one American or English name there. The examiners would rubber stamp the wannabe drivers without even having them on a road test. McMahon said the scam extends beyond the 7 named individuals to 24 suspects in custody. Another indicted DMV employee not identified in the 49-page indictment. Two out of the 3 examiners have been working for 4 or 5 years, so we think this is just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, come on. If you don't, again, when a public office goes dirty, you can talk to DJ Delay. He's talked about it. When a shift, when there's one dirty guard on a shift, nearly every guard on that shift is dirty. You don't ever have just one or two at a place. If there's one or two, then you can bet almost everyone working there is dirty. Yeah, Fury, exactly. Wow. 95% of your Uber Eats Deliveroo and Just Eats delivery are unlicensed, uninsured illegals. I would not be surprised about that, Fury. Not surprised one bit. One examiner does 1,500 exam tests a year. The defendants were arraigned on a slew of fraud, tampering, and theft charges. The charges not eligible for bail under the state's controversial 2019 criminal justice reforms. However, they're ordered to surrender their passports. Now, why would anybody want to risk their livelihood like that? I mean, you've got to know that once that you can't get away with something like that on a long-term basis because somebody is going to talk sometime. Somebody's going to get in an accident. They're going to look at their driver's license. They're going to see that they can't speak English, that they can't read the signs, you know, or any of the other requirements needed to pass that test to operate under a CDL. And when that happens, you know, it's going to go back. How did they get a CDL? How did they get their license? And you know, they're concentrating here on CDLs. But it's not just a CDL that's got me concerned. It's the standard driver's license. And if they're doing out the standard driver's license that way, how many of them got licensed to register to vote? You know, under the motor voter bills. I mean, if you're corrupt enough to hand out a driver's license to someone for money, you think that you're not going to go ahead and register them to vote? If you think it's their right to have a driver's license, aren't you also going to think it's their right to vote? There's problems here. And it goes beyond, like I said, just getting the CDL. And then the next question I've got too is if they go back and they find, let's say they can track back somebody who's been injured in an accident by one of these people who illegally got their, you know, who bought their driver's license like that. And they were severely injured or even killed. Will that DMV employee be held on murder charges? Manslaughter? You know, criminal charges due to the accident? where somebody got hurt? Could they be held civilly liable for damages caused by somebody that got their driver's license like that? That good old Sadiq Khan, man. So, I know I'm probably, I may be thinking too much, putting too much into this, thinking, uh, blowing it out of proportion, but I really don't think so. I don't think I'm blowing this out of proportion. And this is just Florida, one of the reddest states in the country, and New York, one of the bluest states in the country. And Bay County's pretty damn red. There's not many Democrats get elected down in Bay County. A few, yeah, but not many. And in most parts of the country, those Democrats would be considered Republicans. So, I mean, Indiana, Illinois. So there are some pretty big problems coming through there. Yeah, you're right. Dade is the bluest part of Florida. You're absolutely right about that. No, it still is pretty damn blue down there in Dade County. Dade, Broward counties are still really blue. Otherwise, damn it, I can't remember her name now. The House member from down there that's absolutely horrible. Oh, uh, man, I wish I could. I can't think of her name. Damn it. I can see her dirty blonde curly hair and her nasally voice. I can't think of her name. And she's one of these women with three-part names. Uh, Schwartz something or another, I think. Uh, Man, now I can't remember her name. That is okay. Why can I not remember her name now? Walterman Schultz, that's their name. Debbie Walterman Schultz. Yep. She would never get elected any place other than South Florida. She wouldn't get elected dog catcher anywhere except South Florida. All right, get that out of there. So the next thing I wanted to look at here, and this here, I'm sitting here and I'm laughing about. And I'm sure Trump is laughing all the way to the bank over it. Paramount settles Trump's $60 million lawsuit with a $16 million payout, but they got out of having to do an apology. CBS News parent company Paramount Global has agreed to pay $16 million to resolve an extraordinary lawsuit filed by Donald Trump over a 60 Minutes news report last fall. This is the one where they edited Kamala's answers to make her sound more reasonable and a little bit smarter than what she actually was. The settlement does not include a statement of apology or regret. The $16 million includes plaintiff's fees and costs and will not be paid to Trump directly, but will be allocated to Trump's future presidential library, mirroring a settlement agreement that ABC struck with Trump last December. So his presidential library is going to be almost paid for by CBS and ABC. It is still an embarrassing episode for CBS because legal experts maintain that Trump's suit was frivolous and CBS was on solid ground to fight and win. The spokesman for Trump's legal team, meanwhile, celebrated the deal as a victory, even though Trump claimed billions of dollars in damages and wound up settling for a tiny fraction as much. Well, yeah, I mean, when CBS sits there and they actually, edit they ask a question and then they edit the answer given so as to make her, to have it make sense and cut out all the nonsense that she spouted. It made her look smarter than what she actually was. It made her look like she was actually giving a coherent answer when she didn't. They should have been prosecuted for election interference. So when you're sitting there, actually, lying about what a candidate says, but portraying it as that was their actual words, what else can it be? And of course, the left is pissed off about it. Paramount's spineless decision to settle Trump's patently unconstitutional lawsuit is an insult to the First Amendment and to journalists and viewers of 60 Minutes. The journalists and viewers of 60 Minutes should be angry that CBS did what they did. The Freedom of Press Foundation said the group has vowed to file a shareholders' derivative lawsuit over the settlement, meaning the litigation over the matter is not over yet. So they're going to keep this, and the left is even going to keep this out in the news. And that video of, the two videos of what she actually said versus what CBS said she said will be getting played side by side for years to come. Yeah, get your fainting couch ready. I love this here. Trump's complaint was about a single question and answer in the lengthy 60 minutes interview with then Vice President Kamala Harris. He claimed, without evidence, that Harris's exchange was deliberately edited to benefit the Democrat candidate and hurt him. If you edited the commentary, it was to help one and hurt the other. That's the only way. That's it. Conservative media watchdogs had known CBS aired two different sound bites from the Harris response to correspondent Bill Whitaker's question about the Biden administration's relationship with Israel. One clip aired on Face the Nation, another clip on 60 Minutes, which generated confusion on the part of the viewing public. As criticism mounted and Trump threatened to sue, CBS said it merely edited the vice president's answer for time in accordance with television news standards, and it declined to release the full transcript. He initially asked for $10 billion in damages, and his lawyers raised it to $20 billion. And he got $16 million. Okay, Under pressure from the FCC last winter, CBS released the tapes and transcripts of the interview, and the raw materials confirmed it engaged in normal editing. No, it wasn't normal editing. And they did not announce that they edited her answer. They did not tell anybody that they edited her answer. Because who is going to watch a question and answer show when the answers are being edited? And then be able to say, yeah, I saw that and I understand exactly where they stand. I believe I can trust CBS and that they edited their answers in a nonpartisan way. Yeah, I saw that data. I would never trust CBS. As a conservative, as a constitutionalist, I would never trust CBS to edit one of my answers to a question in a way that didn't make me look bad, or in a way that made, I'd never trust them. Let me go out there with all my hems and haws and pauses so that people understand exactly how I answer that question. Don't edit a brief second. Don't edit a breath out of my answer. Because to do otherwise, you're not giving out my answer. You're giving out what you want my answer to be. And this is the problem. This, I mean, and this really does carry on to the problem that I've got with AI. How are we going to, I mean, you can't trust anything now because AI is getting so good. You're, Fury, you're right. That is why a lot of people, when they're being interviewed, whoa, what happened there? You're right. That's when people are being interviewed. They do record on their own cameras the entire interview process. That way, when their questions are edited or when their answers are edited, or as what has happened in some places, and sometimes they've switched the answers up. The answer, yeah, they play an answer, but it wasn't the answer to the question that was asked. It's to another question. Legal experts slammed the suit as frivolous and dangerous, and CBS defended 60 Minutes on First Amendment grounds. Oh, and several Democrat lawmakers even raised concerns the settlement might run afoul of anti-bribery laws. Now, see, Trump really went after groups. So Trump's CBS lawsuit was part of his larger and ongoing effort to attack major media organizations. Not that he deemed unfavorable, ones that lied about him, ones that twisted what he said, ones that the good people on both sides that trunciated that comment to make it appear he said something he didn't say. He sued the Des Moines Register and pollster J. Ann Seltzer last December over a pre-election survey that showed Harris leading in Iowa, which he ultimately won by double digits. Trump claimed the poll violated consumer fraud protections. The Register is currently fighting the suit in court. He also sued CBS, alleging that and there was no alleging, anchor Stephanopoulos did defame him, and the network did settle. I'm just surprised he hasn't brought lawsuit against CNN or MSNBC yet. These news organizations, and you've heard me rail about these news organizations since I've started streaming, and even before I started streaming, when I just put out videos. These news organizations they're all biased as hell. Fox used to do a decent job when the old man was running it. Yeah, they did lean to the right. That was a lean. They didn't stand to the far right like today's news organizations do to the left. Fox was not an answer to MSNBC. Fox was just slightly less to the left than CNN was. No, Fury, it does not. But unfortunately, though, if you're a politician or a famous person, the it's a lot harder to prove slander and defamation. It's really a lot harder to prove it because the legal barriers to it, especially when it comes to a news organization. One of the first things the news organizations say is that they have to, they've only got 30 minutes. So they have to be concise and sometimes leave out pertinent facts because they don't have the time. And the FCC years ago got rid of the equal time policies. So, I mean, years ago, they used to have to be forced to give second by second sides to the opposition. If you gave Kamala 5 minutes, you had to give Trump 5 minutes. And they got rid of that years ago. Oh, your BBC, man. What? Oh, that thing in Glastonbury, man. The BBC is not going to live that down, not for a long time. So, and since people there have to buy licenses for the BBC, but I don't think you guys can sue the BBC over there. But that's a whole nother story. What we got here. And speaking of whole nother stories, we're going into the media. This is going to be fun. I'm going to have there's going to be a lot of fun with this. Whoopi Goldberg puts global spotlight on women's sports athletes with an all women's sports network. That's not sexist at all, is it? A sports network strictly for women, about women. Whoopi Goldberg is making her mark on the sports world by putting a spotlight on women's sports. The EGOT winner, EGOT stands for Emmy, Grammy, Oscar. What the hell's the T for? I don't remember what the T is about. What winner is a longtime passion for sports, which she credits to her brother. He took me everywhere. When I got famous, I took him everywhere. I want to do all things he did. He played softball. I played softball. He played basketball. I wanted to do it. There is no place for us. So Goldberg co-founded the All Women Sports Network, the first ever global sports network exclusively dedicated to female sports. The networks feature sports like table tennis, cricket, field hockey, basketball, and soccer. Goldberg says she's been working on this network for 15 years. Everybody I took the ID to, well, they just patted me on the head and said, no one wants to watch women's sports. But they do, I do. The WNBA can't make enough money on its own to sustain it. They have to get money from the NBA. So, I mean, who really, I mean, that women, the only women's sports, I mean, now, I mean, I played a lot of basketball, but I never considered women's basketball, that WNBA, real basketball, because, you know, of everything, I mean, traveling and everything else. I mean, them people don't even dribble half the time. They're just carrying the ball. So, not since since Caitlin Clark has been playing. Caitlin Clark is one of the few women basketball players that actually has skills. Now, I don't know about netball. And so you got, okay, now women's diving, I enjoy watching. My wife enjoys watching women's gymnastics. I'm iffy about it. Women's swimming, I like to watch. I like to watch swimming competitions, period. But it's like, I don't make plans to watch it. If it's on, you know, even during the Olympics, it's like, oh, women, oh, that's on. So yeah, let's go ahead and watch it. But it's not, what time's the women's gymnastics so I can make certain I watch it. And then I'm watching mostly for the American team to see how they do. Now, women diving is fun to watch. I do enjoy watching women's 3-meter board, 3-meter and platform, 10-meter dives. I do enjoy watching that. And for the ones that, on the rare occasions when they show 20-meter, then those are fun to watch too. But that's because that's just so damned high. I've heard of netball, Fury, but isn't that basically I mean, I thought that was strictly an Aussie sport. I didn't realize it was over in the UK. I thought that was an Aussie sport. I'm not so much into high bar. I'm not so much into the parallel bars or the high bar stuff. You know, that just looks like pain to me. But this is why there's a question here about this. Okay. So she is really going, you know, she's wanting to make certain there are parts of the world where women don't have lots of rights, but they do have the right to play sports. So this is helpful, I think, to these countries as well, because if we can get women engaged in sports and people can see they too can be helpful, we can put money into them. But whoopee, square this circle for me. Okay? I want you to square this circle for me.
I think part of the problem No, well, I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue. No, well,
Whoopi, are you going to be letting trans men, trans women, men participate? You know, how can you say you're there for women's sports when you want to let men participate in them sports against women? Square this circle for me, Whoopi. If you're all about female empowerment and getting women's sports out there, but you're also supporting men playing in these women's sports, that circle don't square for me. Now, without, all right, what in the world is a leg tether there, Fury? I understand touch tackle rules, but what is a leg tether? You talking about like flag football, where they just grab the flag instead of actually and that's considered a tackle? Because I've got no clue what leg tethers are. Yeah, let me put rugby leg tethers. Maybe that'll help me out. Nah, don't show nothing about rugby leg tethers either. Nothing. Oh, okay. Leg tethers tying a rope between your ankles. You mean they actually do that when men play against women? So the men can't take the full stride? You have got to be kidding me. Talk about. Wow. That's dangerous. That is actually dangerous. Because you're used to taking a full stride, and then all of a sudden your body's in that motion for a full stride, and then your leg doesn't go forward far enough. You're going to fall flat on your face. And you're going to spend more time thinking about how far you can, about that you're not going to be thinking about your game when you are trying to run with that on your legs. So that's a double whammy. twin leg tethers. Yeah, there's finally a picture of a twin leg tether. Wow. Okay. But anyway, yeah, so oh Whoopi, I'm going to be kind of curious how Whoopi handles that. How she the boys on the girls' teams. How is she still going to call that a women's sport? Somebody, yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? There was an article on Brittany Griner. How, she's that 6'6", 6'7", quote unquote female basketball player, the one that got arrested by the Russians a couple years back. Supposedly it's on testosterone shots to keep up its muscularness. I was like, yeah, when I read that, I was like, yeah. I saw a video of her in her backyard without a shirt on. And it's like, there's no, unless they had a double a mastectomy, there's no way that's a woman. Okay, where is this other video at that I had lined up? Here we go. There's a danger to being online and being an online influencer who wants to make money, takes donations. If you do this, I'll give you that amount of money, or if I get so many donations, I'll do this. If I get this many donations, I'll shave my eyebrows. Well, this happened.
How much to shave your head bald?
No way it's real, Mr. Beast. I'll never shave my hair. $1 million, 100,000. Mr. Beast! You won $100,000! Mr. Beast! Thank you very much, Mr. Beast! Chuck, what are you writing? What the fuck is Zimbabwean dollar? What the heck is
Okay. If you look at the donation, look at the donation here. It's got a Z in front of that 100,000. This guy, he thinks Mr. Beast gave him that $100,000, so he shaved his head. He sees that Z finally in front of it, that Zimbabwe $100,000. That's like $310. When I did the conversion this morning after seeing this video, it worked out to $310 and change. And he literally, shaved part of his head. Live. For $310. 1 quadrillion old Kwanzaa might buy me a glass of non-potable water. Wow. And non-potable water even. Yikes. Even that's ugly. I did not know this. One of the bigger personalities on television, Dr. Phil. I remember when he first started, and he was just doing his thing, sort of a, uh, oh crap, what was his name? The mayor out of Cincinnati that used to check to pay for a hooker had his TV show. Come on, guys. You shaved your head for 50 pounds donation. Hair grows. Well, you're right. Hair does grow back. Oh, I shaved my head one time. Well, not a complete shave, but I really got my hair almost a crew cut a few years ago. I don't remember why I did. I think I just got. It was summertime. It was hot, and I was tired of dealing with my hair getting sweaty. So I just went to the barber and told him to cut it all off. Then COVID hit, and I went 2 years without a haircut right after that. So, uh, but anyway, this Dr. Phil went and got his own talk show, and he started his own multimedia company. He got rather infamous, with his little talk shows, Catch Outside Girl and all that. Dr. Phil's Merritt Street Media Company files for bankruptcy less than 2 years after launch. I closed that ad twice now. Merritt Street Media, the multi-platform network owned by former daytime talk show host Dr. Phil McGraw, has filed for bankruptcy. They laid off 40 employees in a second wave of job cuts following the dismissal of roughly a third of its staff in 2024. They owe between $100 million and $500 million. Wow. I hope that Dr. Phil does not owe any of that 100 million or 100 million and 500 million or 100 million to 500 million. I hope he's not responsible for any of that personally. But they're not the only one that seems to be in trouble. Microsoft, largest layoff in years, hits Xbox sales and other divisions. Who would have thunk Microsoft would have to start laying people off? Now, I don't own a gaming station. I don't own an Xbox, PlayStation, any of that. The last thing I bought was a Wii for the wife because she wanted the Wii athletics home gym type thing. So I've never owned an Xbox or a PlayStation. The only gaming system I ever owned, well, I owned an Atari 9600 years and years and years ago. I owned a 2600. And I also owned the original Atari. Then I had a Sega Game Gear that I had when I was active duty, kept in my because it fit in the pocket of my BDU jacket and my fatigue jacket. Yeah, that Wii Fit was it was a nice little home fitness console. My wife loved it until the Wii box quit working. But Microsoft is laying off 9,000 workers. Its second mass layoff a month and the largest in more than 2 years. Among them, let's see, 830 workers tied to the headquarters in Redmond, Washington. The company won't say the total layoffs, except it was about 4% of the workforce that it had a year ago. The memo to the gaming division employees Wednesday from Xbox CEO Phil Spencer said the cuts would position the video game business for enduring success and allow us to focus on strategic growth areas. Xbox would follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. They had 228,000 full-time employees as of June of last year. But it's had 3 layoffs this year alone. But either way, a 4% cut would amount to somewhere in the range of 9,000 people. In May, they laid off 6,000. So that's wow. So is that 15,000 people that they've laid off? Or is it going to be 9,000 total, including that 6,000? Yeah, it sounds like they're laying off a total of 15,000 people so far this year. They laying off the 6,000 in May, and then the 9,000 in June. So Microsoft may be in trouble. Their gaming systems may be in trouble. How many people Valve employs to run STEM? Okay, I am not certain who Valve is. So I've got no clue who you're talking about there. Oh, Steam. Oh, I have no idea how many people Steam. Valve Corporation, known as Valve Software, American video game developer, digital distributor. Okay. Let's see how many. Does it say how many people they have? No, they don't. Valve uses a flat structure whereas employees decide what to work on themselves. They develop games through testing, describing game design as experimental psychology. Oh, according to this, Valve only employs 250 people. That's not many people at all for a company like that. I mean, if they only have 250 people, that's not a lot at all. That's a small company. That, and I can close that down. Because the people are all specific. Okay. All right, let's see if anything's making the news here. I don't care about being Olivia Nunn's birthday. Some of you guys may be hot and heavy about Olivia Nunn. If you are, it's her birthday. They are, doesn't look like much is going on here so far this morning. It's the big, beautiful Bill's running into some problems in the House. I see that happening. You know, there's a problem for that. I don't know what, I mean, but I'm not getting too involved or excited about the big, beautiful bill one way or another at this point. I am looking at wanting to buy a Alligator Alley t-shirt. I think that's going to be funny as all get out. And it doesn't look like there's, oh, Lord have mercy. But anyway, that's about it for the day. Let's see. No, I don't care why porn actress died. You know, my guess would be overdose. Let's see what's shown in the news here to review trans. Oh, the Supreme Court's going to review trans athlete bans. Oh, great. Diddy was denied bail. let's find this. Okay, let me share that article here. Under which judge approved this one here. U.S. Supreme Court to review bans on trans athletes and female sports. U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to review whether state laws can ban transgender athletes from competing in women's and girls' sports. The case concerns laws in Idaho and West Virginia where two transgender students won injunctions from lower courts allowing them to continue competing. How the top court rules could have significant implications across the country. It comes 2 weeks after conservative majority court upheld a Tennessee law that bans gender transition care for young people. The ruling that some advocates say delivered a major blow to transgender rights. There is no such thing as transgender rights. Supreme Court will review the cases of Becky Pepper Jackson, 15. How a 15-year-old should not be considered trans. And Lindsay Hecox, who successfully challenged state bans in West Virginia and Idaho by arguing they were discriminatory. Mr. Hecox, a long-distance runner, lodged a legal challenge against Idaho law in 2020. Shortly after it was enacted, he was later granted an injunction by both the district and appeals courts. But in the appeals ruling, a panel of 3 judges found the Idaho law violated constitutional rights and that the state had failed to provide evidence. Law protects sex equity, equality, and opportunity for women athletes. Well, it's like this. If you've got a man running in a female sports, then the female sports is not being protected. I wonder which judge accepted what. It's got to be the liberal judges accepted that. Supreme Court will hear the challenges next term, which begins in October. Well, if that's not interesting as all get out. Okay, Data, you have a good day. Enjoy yourself now, okay? Try to stay out of trouble. So that is Supreme Court. It's got to be the liberal judges. The 3 liberal judges agreed to hear that case. Liverpool player Jota died. Is that one of your? That's got to be one of your players. There, Fury. Is that one of the teams you worry about? £700 of meth found in cucumbers. Feds say smugglers use fruits and veggies as cover. Wow. Rufino Pineda Perez, an illegal alien, appeared in federal court yesterday on charges related to a seizure of over £700 of meth. Yeah, that's it. Of course, there'd be an illegal involved in it. All right, ladies and gents, I am going to end this stream there. We're coming up on the 2 hours anyway. And I got things I need to do yet today. So y'all all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay out of trouble. And of course, be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with. And have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow for a fun day stream, most likely. Or try to have a fun stream. Haven't had one in a couple of weeks. Later, all.